DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, balloverseas.com, the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. I just told you in the last episode here, wherever you're listening to this, about the most important physical attribute you need to play professional basketball overseas. Now, today we're going to talk about the most important mental attribute that you need to play professional basketball overseas. As a matter of fact, I could, honestly, really thinking about this, there's 5-10 different things I can make the number one attribute, but this one I'm going to speak specifically to those of you who know that you have the game, know that you have the ability, and you're just trying to figure out how to get your foot in the door. All right, that's the angle that I'm talking about when I say the most important mental attribute, because there could be a different number one attribute if you're already playing. There could be another one if you're playing in college. It could be another one if you got a deal before. It could be another one if you're going to an exposure camp right now. It could be another one if you already have an agent. But just anybody trying to get their foot in the door, what is the most important mental attribute? I keep mixing up. Mental attribute that you need to play professional basketball overseas. Before I tell you what it is, if you are listening to this on the podcast app, please leave a rating and review of the show. Let everybody know this is the place that you're getting all the game. If you're watching this on video on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Let us know that we're giving you game and helping you get your game to the next level. All that being said, most important mental attribute is ownership. Ownership. What I mean by ownership is not that you need to become the owner of the team and sign yourself, though that might be a good idea for some of you who find that you might be at the end of your rope when it comes to playing overseas. What I mean when I say ownership is that you need to take complete control and complete responsibility over whether or not you get a deal, how and when that deal happens, and if it doesn't work out, you need to take ownership of the fact that it didn't work because you were just not able to make it happen. And sometimes in life, that's just the way that it goes. And when it does happen, you're going to have complete ownership of that too, because you are taking control of the situation. So when I say ownership, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do everything yourself. It doesn't mean you can't enlist somebody else to help you out. It doesn't mean you can't have an agent. It doesn't mean you can't ask, if you want to put up a GoFundMe and people give you some money so you can go to an exposure camp or go to an academy or invest in some footage, getting some footage edited so you got a nice website or you got a nice profile and highlight video. I'm not saying that you can't enlist the help of other people when I say ownership. What I mean is you need to be doing the majority of the work for whatever you're trying to do and wherever you're trying to go in playing professional basketball. Now, if you've listened to or watched all the content that I put out when it comes to overseas ball, if you've read the books and things like that, I'll tell you about those in a minute, then you probably have heard me talk about this before. If you listen to my other show called Work on Your Game, which is my masterclass that comes out every day, is not necessarily about sports, but it's about discipline, confidence, mental toughness, and personal initiative, how as it applies to work, business, life, and sports, then you probably heard me talk about ownership many times. And again, ownership, I'm not necessarily talking about your name needs to be on the deed, or you got to have the papers for your car, or owning some land and real estate. I'm talking about ownership as in you take complete responsibility for whatever happens or whatever does not happen when it comes to your career and the place that you want to go. For those of you players out there who are just trying to get your foot in the door right now, you know you have game, you know you have skill, but for whatever reason, it hasn't popped off yet. The most important thing you need is to start owning the result. And when you own the result, here's the thing. One of two things is going to happen. Either A, because you own it and you're not really taking it that seriously, it's going to fall apart. I mean, you ever seen a house that just falls apart, or a building is just a vacant building? It's just decaying from within, simply because whoever owns it doesn't give a damn. They're just letting the building fall to pieces because they just don't care. That could be you in your basketball career. If you have ownership and you don't care, it will fall apart, and you'll be clear that it fell apart, and you'll know it's your responsibility is on you that it fell apart. Now, on the other hand, there are businesses where somebody does own it, and if anything's going wrong, they immediately fix it. So if the window gets broken one day, the next day, the window is fixed. Somebody stole something, they got the insurance, they get it replaced. All right, somebody quits the job, the next day they're hiring somebody else to take that person's place. If things are not going right, they're bringing people in there, figuring out what's not working, and they're fixing it, they're making adjustments, and they're getting it working again. So ownership means for you that if you have ownership and you're serious about what you're doing, you're serious about where you're going, you're going to be consistently looking at what you're doing, how things are working, whether they're working or they're not working, and you're going to make the adjustments that you need to be making. And when somebody like myself gives you the information and tells you, hey, this is the game, this is the things you need to do, here are the steps that you need to take, here are the things that you're not doing right now, you say, you know what? I'm taking ownership of my situation, This person, has the information. They've been where I want to be. I'm going to take the steps that I need to take to get to where I need to get to. That's what ownership looks like when you're serious about it, when you really want to do what you got to do. And I want all you to understand that everybody has to do this in life. Now, while some people might have to work a little bit harder than others, because we're not all equal, we don't all get the same opportunities, and things don't always work for all of us the same ways at the same time, especially in the sports world where talent matters a whole lot. Like I talked about in the last episode here, you might have to work a little bit harder. You might have to do a little bit extra. You might have to invest in yourself 10 times more than somebody else. And listen, that ain't your business what somebody else got. It's not your business if somebody else had to work less hard than you, or they had hookups that you didn't have. Don't look at the food on another person's plate. All right, what another person has on their plate isn't going to fill your stomach. All right, just because they're eating doesn't mean you ain't hungry anymore. And it ain't your business that they're eating and you're not. Your business is you're not eating, and what you need to do in order to change that situation and get a meal on your plate. That's what you need to focus on. That's what ownership means. You're looking at yourself, where you're at, and what you need to do for you. Not what somebody else did for someone else, not what hookup somebody else has, not how easy it is for them as compared to how hard it is for you. You need to focus on what you need to do for yourself. All right, have I said this in enough different ways here that you understand it? Any of you players who want to get your foot in the door, ownership is the key. Again, it doesn't mean you need to physically own. I mean, mentally, you own your outcomes, you own the situation, and you make sure you want to do something with the opportunity that you have on hand. All that being said, if you do not yet have your free copy of this book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint, what I suggest you do is click the link down below. No matter where you're listening, the link is down below. It's balloverseas.com. I'm giving you this book for free. It's 237 pages. Ain't no pictures in this book. All right, this 237 pages of game for you to play professional basketball overseas, coming from a guy who walked on at an NCAA Division III school. So if I can make it happen, you can make it happen, given that you actually can play. All right, this book is not going to tell you how to play basketball. If you can play, this book will tell you everything else for you to get your opportunity. While you're there getting this book, all you do is cover the shipping, and we'll ship this book to you worldwide. While you're there, I'm going to give you the option to also, if you want, to get the 4-book Overseas Blueprint bundle. That includes this book, The Truth About Exposure Camps, this book right here, Basketball Agents Decoded, and this book right here, Overseas Basketball Secrets. So you will know everything you need to know about the overseas basketball game at a level that most other players cannot explain this. Even players who came from D1s cannot explain the overseas game the way that I explain it, because listen, this is a skill that I have, my ability to take experiences and knowledge and break it down and explain it back to you, articulate it back to you in a way that anybody can understand it. Again, not every ball player can do this. Now, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just letting y'all know this is just the truth. All right, there's a reason why you never seen books like this before, and thousands of players have played overseas. Thousands of players are trying to play overseas. There's only one person who's created this kind of material, and it's me. And anybody else making any material about how to play overseas, they got it from watching my shit and then copying what the hell I said. And I'm just telling you, that's just stating the truth. I'm telling you that, not to impress you, but to impress upon you. If you want the game from playing overseas, you are already in the right place. You are already listening to the right person. If you're trying to make it happen, listen, I just showed you. I'm giving you the game. I'm giving you everything you need to know to make this happen. So go to balloverseas.com. Claim your free copy of this book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. If you want all 4 books, I'll make you an offer to get all 4 books. Just cover the shipping for this book. All right, that's the main offer that we're making you here. And then let's get you overseas so you can start living the life that you want to live. Are you ready for that? Work on your game. Dre, all